Welcome, I'm Brendon Christian, Director at Christian the law firm, and in this clip we're focusing on the legal concept of disclaimer. Firstly, what is a disclaimer? A disclaimer is a statement. Pausing there, please always reduce the statement to writing. Always put it in writing. So, to recap. A disclaimer is a statement, the purpose of which is to define, limit, reduce the scope of a party's rights and obligations, and more to the point, liability, arising out of a contract or indeed some general duty as envisaged by law. Equally, a disclaimer is also used in circumstances where one particular party is seeking to repudiate any potential liability that may arise out of a contract or by way of a general duty of care that is owed to the other party. To summarize then, a disclaimer is a statement designed to limit the scope of a party's liability in certain defined circumstances. Now that we understand what a disclaimer is, the next question is it a useful tool to use in the marketplace? Yes, absolutely. In my experience, I've not seen a circumstance where in advising a party to a contract there's not been a need, if you'd pardon all the negatives, there's not been a need to insert a disclaimer to protect my client's position, particularly where there's some degree of uncertainty or risk. It's an incredibly invaluable tool, and certainly one I would encourage when you're coming to a particular contract. Just be mindful of by way of reducing your potential liability, particularly for circumstances where there's some degree of uncertainty and risk. It's an incredibly invaluable tool. So invaluable, that is, that it would not surprise you to hear that in an ordinary day's commerce and trade, you would see disclaimers everywhere. You would see it, for example, on websites that you visit. You would see it, for example, on the email signatures of emails that you receive. Take your car, go for a drive, park it in a car park. There are disclaimers plastered everywhere by way of public notices in the car park. Something to the effect of, we being the owners of the car park, that is, are not liable and not responsible for theft or damage or loss of your vehicle or the contents therein. Now that we understand what a disclaimer is and its value and usefulness in the marketplace, the next important observation I wish to make is that, please note, it must be reasonable. And here I have in mind certain jurisdictions, for example, the UK, where there's legislation to the effect, and I have in mind here the Unfair Contract Terms Act, where contractual terms cannot be unfair. By the virtue of that legislation, the courts would not uphold or enforce a contractual term that is unconscionable or unfair. And so the simple point I'm making is, please ensure that your disclaimers are fair and reasonable. And if you need assistance with that, please do come and speak to us. I think it's appropriate that at this point I certainly insert my disclaimer into this clip. And my disclaimer simply is, please note, this clip does not constitute legal advice. Please do take specialist legal advice around the circumstances of your particular matter. The authors of this clip will not be held responsible or liable for any damages or losses suffered in any circumstances, howsoever arising, from your use or reliance upon the information contained within this clip. Not bad. End quote. Not bad, even if I say so, having just thought about it on the spot. Thank you very much indeed. I'm Brendon Christian, Director at Christian the Law Firm, and if you need any assistance with your disclaimer or any other matter related to your business, please do get in contact with us.